An unexpected encounter occurred on a typical evening while Taylor Swift was getting ready for her next tour. The story was so heartwarming that it left everyone in a state of shock, in sharp contrast to the thrilling intensity it would host in a matter of days. The arena was large and quiet. The stage was half prepared, and there were countless rows of vacant chairs waiting for Taylor's staff to work their magic. She had come earlier than normal since she needed some alone time to think and practice before the concert's mayhem. A gentle melodic hum drew her attention as she moved through the reverberating room. It wasn't a sound check or her team. Those hadn't begun yet. The voice drifted from the top stands, untrained yet genuine. Taylor followed the sound, intrigued. She could see him, a janitor in his mid-40s wearing a faded uniform, up in the shadows of the upper seating. He was occupied with cleaning the seats, moving steadily and intently as though in time with the tune he was humming. The janitor's voice drifted through the arena's silence as Taylor stood there listening. There was no performance. Even though it was unrefined and unvarnished, it had a really touching quality. As he made his way along the rows of seats, humming and singing gently, the man appeared oblivious to everything around him. She could tell he was tired because of the slight sag in his shoulders, which was a sign of hard days and long hours. Mike was identified by a little emblem on his chest, and his outfit was immaculate but tattered at the corners. Taylor's curiosity grew as she moved closer. The janitor stopped mid-song just as she opened her mouth to speak. He looked around as though he could feel someone close by, and he froze as he saw her gaze. They were silent for a moment. His expression changed from bewilderment to wide-eyed incredulity. His voice was hardly audible above a whisper as he muttered, Are you really—" Taylor grinned broadly. "Hello. I hope I'm not disturbing you." The man's fists tightened on the mop handle as he struggled to find the right words. "No, I didn't think anyone was here yet." Taylor sat down in one of the seats close to him. "You were singing, and I couldn't stop listening. Isn't that one of my songs?" Mike's face reddened as he nodded. "Yes, my daughter adores your songs. I suppose I hear it so often that it becomes ingrained in my memory. I hope that's all right." "It means a lot that my songs mean something to you and your family," she said. After hesitating, Mike continued to open up. "My daughter's been asking to come to one of your concerts, but times are tough." His remarks caused Taylor's heart to ache a little as she listened carefully. She saw the sacrifices he was making to keep things afloat, and the love he had for his family. Here he was, putting in long hours cleaning a venue for a concert that he probably couldn't afford. With each word Mike said, Taylor's interest grew as she leaned forward. Gently she inquired, "What's your daughter's name?" "Ella," he answered. "She is 12 years old, enjoys dancing and singing, says she hopes to emulate you in the future." As he spoke, a small smile appeared on his lips, and his face flashed with a mixture of pride and sorrow. It warmed Taylor's heart. "She sounds amazing. She must make you very proud." Mike nodded, but it was clear that he was struggling. "You know, I just wish I could give her more. Even when I work as many shifts as possible, some things are simply out of my grasp." As though to highlight the insurmountable distance between their universes, he pointed to the stage. Taylor touched the chair next to her with a reassuring hand. "Your concern for her is evident. That's the most important thing." After a little pause, she continued, "Would you mind singing that song again? Your voice is beautiful." Embarrassment flooded Mike's face. "Oh, I don't know about that." "Please," smiled Taylor. "It would mean a lot to me." Mike started to sing reluctantly. At first his voice wavered, but as he closed his eyes and allowed the words to flow, a quiet assurance came through. His raw song reverberated across the wide arena, which appeared to hold its breath. Taylor listened as the lines were sung back to her with such genuineness that they took on a new meaning. She gave him a little clap when he was done. "Mike, you have a gift. Nobody should be able to convince you otherwise." He shook his head and laughed. "I'm just an old janitor trying to make ends meet." Taylor firmly stated, "I think Ella knows that too, and you're so much more than that." Mike was unaware that she had already been moved to do something amazing by his unadulterated talent and honest honesty. She smiled warmly and stood up. "Thank you for sharing your story and your song with me." With a look of wonder and appreciation in his eyes, Mike watched her leave. He was unaware that the brief encounter he had with Taylor would eventually result in a life-altering event for both him and Ella. Taylor returned to her team on foot. She couldn't get Mike singing her song out of her head. There was a raw intensity in his voice that really spoke to her. She was unexpectedly moved by his narrative, his hardships, and his love for his daughter. She was aware that she needed to take action. She asked her manager whether it would be possible to set up a special event for a janitor named Mike. Her crew, accustomed to her impromptu generosity, got to work right away. Taylor intended for this to be more than just concert tickets. She desired to leave a lasting impression. By the end of the day, Taylor had secured VIP tickets for Mike and his daughter Ella, which included backstage access to her performance. She didn't stop there, though. After learning about Mike's difficulties paying for Ella's education, she reached out to a nearby scholarship organization to assist with funding her education. For Taylor, the discreetness of these gestures was crucial. She wanted them to feel like an acknowledgement of Mike's sacrifices rather than like charity. Mike and Ella were escorted to their seats close to the stage on the night of the concert. Ella's eyes glistened as she took in the arena's magnificence, and her joy was evident. It was a weird time for Mike. He felt a burden lifted off his shoulders as he sat there and observed his daughter's happiness. Ella finally got to meet her idol after the show. There was a lot of embraces and laughs. Taylor just shook her head as Mike tried to thank her. She smiled and replied, "You've already done so much for Ella. This is just a little extra from me." Mike took more than just the night's memories with him when they departed the arena that evening. He held a packet with Ella's educational scholarship information and a handwritten note from Taylor inside. "I appreciate you reminding me of my motivations. You have no idea how much you and Ella inspire me." Mike felt hopeful and full of possibilities for the first time in years, not only for himself, but also for his daughter's future. It was never about fame or notoriety for Taylor. It was about adhering to the principles that characterized her as an artist. If you had been Taylor, how would you have responded? Have you ever been a part of or seen an instance of unanticipated compassion that transformed someone's life? Remember to subscribe for more touching stories of connection and humanity, and feel free to share your ideas and anecdotes in the comments section below. And never forget that even the tiniest deeds of kindness have the power to permanently alter someone's life.